Friday, August the 21st, 2020. Larry will not be with us today, but he called. He is a little panicked today because of what has happened where he is. And the Fox channel where he is was scrambled. And so I don't have TV, so I couldn't help to find out if something's happening in town. I don't know. I've called a few people. Jimmy in one of the Carolinas, I can't remember which one, doesn't have TV either, or at least doesn't have Fox on his TV. And so he was trying to find it through his phone, and he has spent an hour and finally found Fox. I haven't tried going on to find it on the computer or YouTube yet myself. Please send me a text. I'd appreciate it. My text number is in the description box below here, but I'm gonna. I thought I had it. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna put that up just for a little bit before I go back to showing Larry's PayPal. I just wanted to say one more thing to honor my dad and his passing. This was a t-shirt that finally arrived today that I tried to order before the funeral, and I couldn't get it fast enough. Anyhow, in case you can't read it, or in case it's backwards, it looks forwards to me, but I don't know what it is to you guys. It says, World War II veteran daughter. Most people never meet their heroes. I was raised by mine, and that's certainly how I feel. I can't say my dad was a military hero, but he worked on a destroyer. He was the radio man, so he was down in the bottom of the ship. He never saw any action, and so he doesn't feel like sorry, I'm trying to adjust this. I was going to cover up the shirt. He didn't feel like he had done anything to serve his country because he never saw a firefight. He was down in the, in the belly of the destroyer, and so I mean, you and I both know that the radio man is a very important person to have alert and doing his job, so you can be getting commands from headquarters. His destroyer, the USS Nichols, was used as the transition ship at the end of World War II in the South Pacific. The peace treaty with Japan was signed on the USS Missouri, the aircraft carrier, the Missouri. Everybody except the Japanese signer crossed his ship to get up to the Missouri because they were out at sea when the treaty was signed. So I have let me find it here, very important message from Larry. Two things happened. One, he was freaking out about no, I was suggesting send me a text if you know. I already talked to you, James, about you having Fox channel and found that it was still going. If everybody would please check that you can get Fox on your TV still, if you do have Fox, send me a text. Let me know what company you get your service from, and if you still have Fox or not. So in other words, are you part of Dish Network? Are you part of Comcast? Are you, whatever you use in the way of cable channel, or however you find Fox on your TV, or if you only do it by cell phone. Anyhow, send me a text message so I know whether you could still get Fox, because we just need to know if it's a local issue for where he is right now or not. He was pretty upset. Now, remember, Larry has told us for a year and a half that they are going to shut down the internet, that they do not want the conservative voice being known. And I think he's really worried about whether Trump's even going to be able to get I need to get where is my paper? I need to start writing down if you're going to put it here in the chat. If he's going to, if the Republican National Convention next week will even be broadcast. So somebody's got Fox still on Spectrum. We're just trying to find out Fox, what he was trying to get in the way of Fox News. I don't know which part of Fox. I just know that he was trying to get Fox, and he said it was scrambled, and so he couldn't get it, and he was freaking out because he had told us that that they are going to shut down the internet for conservative voices. We can expect all the conservative YouTube channels to go down, and so he's just wondering. Has this started already before the Republican convention? And forgive me if I seem like I'm brushing things away. I got some gnats circling around me for some reason. The other big message is, thank you. And YouTube still got it up. Okie doke. All right. So anyhow, he had it yesterday and it was not available this morning. So he was pretty freaked out. One of the things he said that's really important is his need for financial help because he's incurring some more big medical bills right now because he's needing some extra help. Things are not, he didn't sound good. Something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. But yeah, don't we wish, Rick, that we could shut them down. Right side broadcasting. Anyhow, we don't know what's going to happen with the medical bills that he's got right now, that he's having to get some extra help. Pray that they will be willing, whatever it is that's going on, be willing to give him an effective treatment for whatever it is that's going on with him. Okay. I don't know what it is, but he's going to need something effective and not the most expensive stuff going on. So, William, that's a funny comment. If they don't have Fox, how do they expect us to watch MSM? I assume that's what you're saying. Yeah, that's okay. Back to Biden. I don't know if you saw his acceptance speech. I could only watch about 5 minutes and then I'd had enough. It was all about family. It was all about his love for his, I think it was Beau, that went in the military and died, and how proud he was and so on. It sounded like Biden. It sounded too perfect to be Biden today. So it left me, this is 100% speculation, but it left me wondering how many speeches did they cut and paste together, because you didn't see him the whole time I watched the speech, the 5 minutes I listened, you didn't see him talking. Hang on, guys. Larry's on the phone. Hey, Larry, I'm on the show. You want to say something? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone, I can't stay for a second. But I just want to let you know I have some important news for you. Monday. I don't know, Mary, can you hear the oxygen stuff? I've got too much of it going on.
Yeah, the oxygen's real loud.
I'm sorry, what?
The oxygen is loud, but I don't.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to do about it.
Okay, I don't hear
so much going into it.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, you're always going to end up here at the end of a Democratic convention. You're always going to end up depressed. It's always going to look like the Democrats got it one hands down. The media typically stands with the Democrat. This is normal. What you're feeling is normal. Not good, just normal. You understand that?
Yep.
I love you.
Yep.
Now, next week, the Republicans will get their chance. Now, what's different this year? Normally, the Republicans would get the same shake. Maybe it would be slanted different, but in time allocation, it would be, they'd make sure it looks similar. I don't think they're going to do that this year with Trump. So we're going to be cut short on interface time with the mainstream population. And so that's going to be kind of hard to deal with. But we have plans to work around that I hopefully will be able to be in the middle of to make sure they work. Just a minute, Ariel. Now, don't believe a thing you hear from the media, please. Once again, don't believe it. Don't believe the polls that you're going to hear from this weekend. Please don't. Now, I'm telling you all these things because you're thinking, well, you already told us. Yes, I have. But guys, you're the first level of experiment that we've got coming. You're the first level of Trump supporters that I have to find out how you're being impacted by this unfairness it's doing to you. All right? You're the people I need to hear from. And then I will adjust the program accordingly. We know that there's a bastion of people out there that were soft Trump voters last time, will be soft voters this time. We also know that there's a cache of voters that voted for Trump that were just absolutely voting against Hillary, had nothing to do with Trump. We know and expect to lose a goodly portion of those simply because they hate Trump. They'll vote for Biden. That's coming. We're measuring out everything. Everything's being measured out in this national campaign more than probably in any campaign ever before. Second by second, county by county, city by city, state by state, everything is important. Everything. So I beg you, hang with us here. I'm sorry I'm back sick again a little bit, but anyway, I'm sorry. It's just a little bit. It's not, I hope it's a little. Now, Mary Ellen, let's take some questions, please, or I have to go. If you want me to, honey, it's up to you.
No, that's fine. I don't have any questions being asked right now because they didn't know you're going to be able to be with us. So we have 83 with us right now. So I have asked folks about the getting Fox, and from what I asked people about whether they can get Fox. Everybody else seems to be able still to get Fox. It's getting a little harder to find it through the internet, but so far everybody's being able to find it.
Well, did you tell them what I'm witnessing here?
Yes, sir, I did. And so we're thinking that is just unique to where you are.
I don't know. Could be. I hope it is. But this hospital, I assure you, I know most of the board members. I would find it hard to believe that the board of this hospital would on its own take such a step. Now, I could be wrong because they could have gotten a complaint or a series of complaints and, they buckled down to it, whatever. But I just know them, and I just find that hard to believe. But if it is the fact that they have gotten one complaint or a series of complaints, when you see a series of complaints, then that you're talking some more organized effort. So I would imagine anywhere that an organized effort hits, hold on, they're liable to change policy.
Bonnie said Cox Cable is 100% down in Southern California. And I don't know if that's that would be the whole cable system, which could be that could have more to do with the rolling blackouts than Fox. People are asking, have you tried hydroxychloroquine yet?
No.
It helps with cancer as well as the other issues.
All right now, folks, please do me a favor. I'm really caught between a rock and a hard place. Don't pressure me to try anything that I'm not home. Okay?
Yeah.
Please. I need your help and I need your support in that. I love you all and I appreciate what you're saying, and most of you probably know better than what I'm getting, but it's all tied to something to where I'm not having to hit job for $2,000 or $3,000 a day. So
okay.
I need some a day, but I don't need that amount, and that's why it's all tied together.
Yeah. All right. So Laura has Fox in Southern California on Cox.
Okay, good.
Ohio has Fox still up. And somebody's having trouble when President is on Facebook. It'll play a second and then stop. And they did the same thing with Dan Bongino's page on Facebook. That was when Trump was had a conference today, so or press conference. And I've been having a similar issue with my phone shutting down on stuff on me. Don Henry's cousin is in the chat, Larry, today. You know who Don Henry, right? From the Boys on the Track.
Oh yes. Now I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I just having trouble keeping everything in my head right now.
Understandably. So I have not told them about Biden yet. I was just telling them my reaction to the little bit that I saw on of his acceptance speech. And I was, I said this is strictly speculation on my part, but I wondered, thank you, Humphreys, if anybody can match that 135, that would be awesome, or any part of it. And I'm sorry you're not getting notifications, Jean. At least we're always here at the same time, so you can look. And I'll catch you up in a minute, Josh. Sorry you're late. Larry's with us. He's on a breathing machine, so we get a little air noise occasionally. So I was wondering if because they didn't the time I watched Biden's acceptance speech, he was talking, but he was not on camera at all. And it made me wonder if it was a spliced, computer-generated talk.
His entire speech was filmed and canned. He did nothing live. Nothing.
Yes.
There was no part of that speech live, although I know you saw, maybe some of you. And it looked like he called her out to the stage, and it looked like it was, but it wasn't. It was all pre-recorded. And it was measured for inflection, it was measured for timing. The whole thing.
Yeah. So somebody just came in, Gloria, he's talking about it was fraudulent what Biden's speech was, because he's not in front of a camera talking. He was doing it in bits and pieces behind the scenes, and they could, pull everything together.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Now, folks, get this very clear. And number one, Marilyn, of course, you and I would call it fraudulent, but law enforcement probably would.
Okay.
It was not a speech it was a pre-recorded message, just like he would do a 30-second TV commercial. And it was just a pre-recorded, however long it was, speech. It wasn't, they didn't supply, I guess what I was saying to Mariella, so she was saying maybe they were going along, he was talking, and then his splice of these in, that they wanted to show, and then come back out and come back to him live. Okay. They didn't do that.
Well, it seemed to me like, I
hear you, I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm waiting for the oxygen to quiet. It seemed like they may have videotaped him in clips that were put together.
Okay, you're wobbling out. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's the oxygen, Larry. The oxygen machine's really loud.
Okay. Well, anyway, just so that we have the record straight, that was a canned, pre-recorded message.
And we were suggesting that it was a bunch of clips that were spliced together.
Yes, it was. There's
Okay.
a bunch of clips that they spliced together in the editing room along with his dialogue, his
Right.
original dialogue. But
Right.
none of it, I guess, let's say it this way, maybe we'll all get it. None of it was done there on stage as you watched it. None of it.
Right. Right. So they could make him look and sound a whole lot better than he's capable of doing.
When they go to that much trouble, y'all, they could have made me look and sound great. And we all know how hard that would be.
All right.
Not hard, I should say, impossible. That would be.
Especially today. Gloria says Biden couldn't put a coherent sentence together now if he tried.
What? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Biden could not put a coherent sentence together now if he tried.
Nope.
And you can edit
But
stuff.
you see, he's exactly what they want. There's nothing real about him. Okay? There's nothing substantive about him. They need somebody that's just a blank mat. Just a canvas mat that an artist is fixing to paint on. Well, they want the mat completely clean. They don't want anything on it. And then as they get into the campaign, they will then be able to paint caricatures of him to make him out what they need him to be. Okay? That's what it's all about. They don't want him. They don't want anybody that has a position. They don't need a position. Their entire campaign, if y'all haven't seen it by now, is what I told you it was going to be. Anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Trump.
Larry, I don't know if you saw the podium that they used. They have a new logo with a 5-pointed star. It sits sideways, so it looks like it's a blue arrow pointing to the right. But if you flip the sign and take the color coding out, it is the upside down it's the upside down pentagram, which is the symbol for Satanism.
Oh, well, that'll just have to stand for now, folks. Don't tell others about it yet.
Okay.
Please don't.
All right.
in their logo, did they keep the E in Biden to where you can't hardly see it?
I think so, but I
Is it
didn't.
still red? Is it still red?
I'm not sure. All I saw was the pentagram and the 2000. I mean 2020.
Okay. Y'all not looked at it up until last night, if that's what they done. They had a horrible logo because it took the E of Biden and put it in red. And guess what? You couldn't see it any hardly.
Wow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
neither here nor there. We've got problems. That ain't it.
Okay, there's one question, and that's the only question I'm going to ask. If they can't declare a winner by the beginning of January, does Nancy Pelosi automatically go in?
No.
Okay.
Now, in that circumstance, what would happen is Congress would give, I think the first one's got to be, maybe the first got to be 30 days, 15 days, but they'll just keep walking back the number of days that they postpone the count. So let's say the first time out, they say, okay, we got 30 days to get this vote count validated. When that 30 days is up, if they haven't validated someone to be president, then they say, well, we've got 15 days until we validate the vote. Well, if that doesn't work, then they say we got 10 days to validate
Yeah.
So they'll just keep walking it back in smaller pieces.
All righty.
All right, gang.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm in a little noisy place here with this oxygen, but it's needed, believe me.
Yeah.
And if you would do me a favor, Mary Ellen, and raise it so I got to have it.
Okay.
I'll try to see you. Maybe. No, I will see you Monday. I'm sorry. Monday.
All right.
But you'll take care of the money, Mary Ellen.
I'll do my best, Larry.
All right, dear. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Well, that was a nice surprise. So one of the things that Larry did call me, and I was at church at an event, but we talked a little bit. Let me just see if I can get my he said one thing he wanted you to know more than anything else is that he will be back. Do not count him out. He's fighting as hard as he can. And I keep asking about the hydroxychloroquine, and he said that he's not allowed to push for that. I don't know if what he has is that if that is something that would be appropriate with whatever it is he's dealing with. So I don't know. Anyhow, guys, we are at a point in our country where we just have to be in prayer and praying for Larry, praying for the doctors to do what's right by him is asking for a miracle. But for crying out loud, 2.5 years ago, he was pronounced dead. The doctors left the hospital room and he was left there, and the nurse was unhooking everything. And I got wind that he may be done and assembled a team of 12 of us on the phone and on the conference call. And we prayed and he came back. So, this is nothing compared to that. So just keep him in prayer. God can and will do miracles. So, all right. I was getting another notice, but it's somebody talking about Fox. So, I have heard that the cities spell out Lucifer, but one of the places was Korea, and Korea is not in that spelling. So be careful about some of those stories, James. All right. So one of the things we have heard already that Kamala Harris has basically done nothing in the years that she's been in the Senate. So other than, raising Cain for against Kavanaugh, for example, but she's passed no bill. She hasn't been in charge of anything that's gotten through Congress. So, she and Biden are together. Larry has known Biden, worked with Biden, knows him from 40 years ago. They were bumping into each other and doing things. So he was very involved. Larry's been very involved in politics for decades, and he's done nothing but serve this country in one capacity or another. He said in 40 years, this is something you guys need to keep telling people. In 40 years, he has accomplished nothing. He said back in the day, the whole goal was hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, do nothing. So they can't criticize you when they want to come against you politically. So he was just there to play, to be a pretty face, and to look good on TV. And he said back in the day, it was not conservative versus liberal. He said that the country was pretty much split between North and South, and the majority of jobs were in the North until they began to realize how much cheaper the labor was in the South. And so a lot of the industries moved to the South at that point. And then when Clinton came into office, most of the jobs or a lot of the industry went to China. And through NAFTA and the anyhow, the Atlantic, the Pacific Treaty. I don't know if Harris's seat is up. I would think her seat would be open if she's running for office, but I really don't know. Larry said, here's the lie. A lie, when you can accuse somebody of a lie, you need to be careful about accusing. Yes, Biden is a nothing burger, absolutely. And yes, we know that he is being accused of treason with what he did, with the money his son got from Ukraine and China and selling us down the river, absolutely. But we can't say that, we can't verify that he's committed treason because he has not been prosecuted for that. But from what we are hearing, that's what it sounds like. But we have to be very careful about what we say and how we say it, so that we don't end up in legal trouble for saying the wrong thing. So we've got to be careful about how we phrase it. Biden knows a lot, and they don't want him to be investigated. So I'll get to that in a minute, Josh. So he said, now, if somebody says they're going to vote Democrat and then they vote with the Republicans, they have lied. Lying is when you do the opposite of what you tell the people that you're going to do. And he said, if you promise to do something, but you haven't been able to complete the job yet, that is not a lie. You're trying, even if you haven't gotten it done. And so Trump said that he would drain the swamp. Well, he's been working very hard on it. There's an awful lot that has been accomplished, but remember, they have to work their way in increments up and up and up the chain. And so to get the top people out means you got to knock out the legs down below. And so he's working on it, but to the fact that the swamp is not completely drained does not mean that he lied about that. And then Larry said, even with the hostile atmosphere among the Democrats and the mainstream media and their opposition of Trump in Washington, D.C., even so, in the last 3.5 years, Trump has delivered more than all presidents combined in a 3.5-year period. He said that Biden was perfect as the senator for Delaware. and they wanted him to run for president because he has nothing to show negatively in what he did. When they do a look back, there's nothing to show up. And his strongest point is the fact that he has done nothing. And that is also true, apparently, for Kamala Harris, it sounds like. So the nature of politics. So in the beginning, Josh, I was asking, Larry was pretty freaked out because the Fox has been scrambled where he is. And so he was very concerned because he's told us for, a year and a half that that they're going to block the internet, that conservative voice has to be stopped before the election. They can't have anybody knowing the truth about Trump or about us. So Murphy's Law, that's good news. Anyhow, there are several people who are reporting those kinds of things. Larry hasn't reported that yet. I don't know, what he does and doesn't know on that yet. I think that is not something, insider information, he's been privy to yet. I mean, I do know that Durham has been given an awful lot that looks very, it just, leaves everybody looking like they've really deserved to be in jail or worse. Now, whether something happens, remember one of the things, Trump has delivered more than anybody has in the last 20 years, but in a 3.5-year period, no president has ever accomplished as much as Trump has. So, and yes, Millie Weaver and Bannon, I understand, was let out on $5 million bail. They would not allow Millie to post a bond to get out on bail, and they tried to take her children in a CPS trial the hour before her arraignment even happened. And by having her arrested on a Friday, she was forced to spend the weekend in jail because there was no judge to go before for an arraignment. So, what do I think of Steve Bannon's arrest? Trey Gowdy said that this is a typical fraudulent move for collecting money and then spending it differently from what you say you're going to do. If you listen to yesterday's show, you will talk about the fundraising that I have done for Larry and how very above board it is that I tend to throw in more. I have never taken a penny of what has come in for him, and my habit is to pitch in more, not to just give him when there's a little bit that doesn't go directly through Larry's PayPal, that comes through me. And I just, there were things that I was supposed to be paid back for that I never have allowed him to do because of how much he needed. I got something going on my screen. There you go. Bye. And, he's being funny when he's saying I should have a third term. Remember, Obama said he wanted to have a third term. He thinks people wanted him to have a third term. Thank you, Sherry. Larry's medicine is between him and his doctor. I do get concerned at times. It's hard to, it's not our right to second guess. And, I have never seen any of Larry's bills. I have seen the stacks of bills on his table. I will have a word for you about that next week, Terry. So he needs $1,250 for some medical equipment. That is the next step in his rehab process. He needs money to help pay for bills. There's a copay he has to pay in order to have the physical therapist continue to work with him. Obviously, today he mentioned he's in the hospital and he's getting an oxygen treatment right now. So he's planning to be back on Monday. He's going to need some money to pay for this oxygen that they're giving him. So anything you can do is appreciated. And I think I've shared with you everything he had to share. I was texting with somebody this morning. I was reading, I'm trying to finish up my read through the Bible. I'm really going slow through Isaiah. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, I was reading Isaiah 41:29. My Bible's way over there, so I'm not going to bring it over here. But Isaiah 41:29 is pretty funny, because if you read that whole verse, it's basically hearing Trump saying, fake news, and there's God saying, fake news, which I think is pretty funny. So, anyhow, if you want to hear God's opinion on fake news, go to Isaiah 41, verse 29. And I agree, Scott, Larry is a most extraordinary person. And if anybody can match that 135 that was donated a few minutes ago in Larry's PayPal account, that would be awesome. Anything anybody else can do. I will put my own phone number up again just real quickly. If you can donate but don't use PayPal, send me a text or call. I get a lot of phone calls, so I don't always get a chance to answer, and I will call you back if I see that I've gotten a call. So if you can't use the PayPal, contact me and I will help you figure something else out. I can be pretty creative. My phone number is also down here in the description box, as well as Larry's PayPal address or PayPal account. So thank you guys, and have a very blessed weekend. Let's get the word out that Biden has done nothing in contrast to all that Trump has done. That's an important piece of information that we need to be putting out there. And he's just been a pretty face all the way along that people keep voting for. So we need more than a pretty face. We need somebody who's actually going to accomplish something for the people, not for themselves. Yes, even $5. If enough of us chip in $5, we will have quite a bit. And Humphreys, you're right. I mean, even a dollar is going to raise his total. And what has happened in the past is PayPal does take a cut out, and there have been times when I've seen that cut and I've made up for it. I can't do it very often, but anyhow, do whatever you can, folks. We've got to keep this man in this fight with us. Our president needs him more than he realizes, and he needs us working behind the scenes. Remember, Larry said we are the front line. So be talking to people, please, over the weekend, and give us some feedback on Monday. Feel free to text me before the show with some feedback on how things went, or call me on Monday or Sunday evening, and not Sunday evening. You can call me late to mid to late Sunday afternoon. Yes, Larry can do prepaid gift cards. You can put those in the mail, that's for sure. His address is at nicholslive.com, or text me and I'll send you his address if you have a gift card that he can use. So that's it, folks. Thank you very much, and we'll talk on Monday. God bless you. Bye-bye.